I just want to start with prayer and thanksgiving. So, Heavenly Father, I just thank you for this third final day of this challenge. I thank you for the people that have shown up for themselves. I thank you for the people that have heard the recordings and those that still have yet to hear these words. Lord, I just invite you into this Zoom room. You are so present everywhere, but I just encourage those that are listening that they know how precious you are to them, Lord, that they are kingdom wealth creators, that they are capable of anything because they are your precious children. They were created in your image and they can do anything through you that supports and created them. So we thank you, Lord, in advance for the amazing knowledge we get to share today. And I just am so grateful for these people that have shown up in your precious name. Amen. So, friends, I just want to say this has been so fun. This week has been a week of growth for me. So, thank you for being here this week. We are going to be repurposing this class for a wonderful group that I am blessed to be part of. So, thank you for helping me get this recorded and get this curriculum out there for more people to be able to be blessed by, because I really feel like I have been blessed so abundantly in my life by people that have poured into me, that people that have just given me knowledge so abundantly and not even charged me most of the time, right? I find it's very interesting. I find more and more as I go through this entrepreneurial journey that some of the most precious gifts are those that I haven't paid anything for, you know, and yet I do also recognize the worldly way is that we get to pay for things that have value. But I just want to encourage you all to just give yourself a pat on the back for blessing me with the most precious thing that we have, which is your time. So thank you in advance for that. And hello, beautiful friends. Yes. So today's going to go fast and furious because we have a lot to cover. Because, of course, God just packed so much in the last 2 days. And last night he's like, wait, but Lisa, you gotta remember to tell them about this and remember to tell them about this. So it's gonna go fast. We're gonna cover a lot today. But for those of you that are just joining us for the first time, we are here to help you discover how to reimagine your American dream. The theme of this whole week has been faith, freedom, finance. We want to eliminate lack and help our fellow children of God step into their kingdom assignments. I have a special invitation at the end of this to those brave souls that might be interested in learning more about what we do. We are expanding, aren't we, Sharon? We are taking territory, aren't we, Donna? So, for those of you that missed the first few days, just a recap, the first day was all about just stepping into the masterpiece that we are not a financial mistake, where we got clear about wealth in the kingdom is not about money. It's the absence of lack. Yes, money is part of that, but it's the absence of lack in so many other areas. Our health, right, Lorena? We're on a health journey right now. Our wealth, our relationships, of course, and yes, our finances. And yet, God cares nothing about money. He does use it as a test of trust for us. We talked about, hey, do we want to be good stewards by protecting our families? It is last month was Life Insurance Awareness Month in my industry. This month, November, did you know this? It's Long-Term Care Awareness Month. There's a financial month for all the parts of the things that we do. So we really talked about when we put our finances in order, we really are following heaven's order. Nothing is missing, nothing is broken. We had a bonus tool for you, the audit of trust. and the Kingdom Cash Flow Tracker. Has anyone actually gone into and started to populate their Kingdom Cash Flow Tracker? I want to invite all of you to take action on that. I started to populate mine last night, and I'm going to get completed with that. Day 2, we talked about our power to create wealth, not just a paycheck, but a play check and eventually a slay check, learning to connect our calling and our cash flow and the power of building wealth with no loss, only upside potential. To me, that is absolute kingdom blessing and kingdom wealth, and sharing the streams of Eden that we all have available to us. Today we have a lot. We have a lot to cover. We're going to start by one of my favorite things, which is how to multiply our giving. I'm going to share with you a special exercise that God helped me create this week, the Kingdom Wealth Creator Giving Plan. We're going to talk about where we're at today with our giving and where we can be this time next year with our giving, multiplying with Jesus Christ as the center of our life and the Holy Spirit as the tip of the spear. We're going to teach you how to be your own banker. We're going to give you a mini lesson on how to create $1 million babies. And we're going to start to touch on one of my favorite topics about how to create your own crypto economy as well. So we all can generate more to be generous. Just a little bit about me. I don't remember a time in my life that I didn't know the name of Jesus. And I will tell you what, I was blessed with a mother. I remember growing up in Alaska. Um, I I remember so many mornings in the wee hours of the dark Alaska night where I would wake up in the morning. It was in Alaska, friends, it's dark until about 10:30 or 11 in the middle of the winter, right? And I remember so many mornings when I would walk into the living room and my mother would be in her chair by the fireplace with a lamp on and a Bible in her lap. And I got to have my mom's Bible when she passed away. And there was so much writing. There was writing everywhere, and it's like I got the gift of watching my life in the pages of the Bible because I was all over it. And now I get that Bible, and when I'm doing my Bible study, I have my mom's Bible next to me. And she wrote one of the first things that she wrote, I'm sure you've heard this, is when you find a Bible that's falling apart, the person that owns it usually isn't. And I love that. I can't wait to have a Bible that's falling apart that I get to pass on to my girl or my sons or both, all of them. Because my mom had a lot of Bibles. In fact, that was one of the most coveted things that my aunties and my cousins actually asked. Can I have one of Sue's Bibles? Because she was a prolific Bible reader. Okay, friends. So today, one of my very favorite topics that we're going to talk about is giving. Okay. And I want to just start with opening up the room a little bit. And for those of you that are brave enough and can gift us with the blessing of your input, talk to me about your giving life right now. And please remember, I'm not just talking about your monetary gifts. That's obviously the first places that the world puts us, right? But I would love to just hear and start this exercise with how you are serving right now. How are you giving? Anyone? Just open up your mic and share with us.
I'll jump in because I feel how I give, not monetarily, is a gift that I have. If someone needs something, I mean, I have a caring, giving heart, and it's like, when my neighbor wasn't feeling well, it's what can I do for you? What do you need help with? And so I feel like, it's a beautiful gift to have. And when you put on, the kingdom hat of love, I think giving is part of that.
I agree. I love that, Donis. When you are in the presence of Donis, don't you just feel love, right? Don't you just feel loved? You are a thermometer. No, I'm sorry. Wait. You're a thermostat,
Thermostat.
not a thermometer. Who else? Sharon.
I think I totally agree with Donis. My husband and I are the same way. But I think opening up our home for multiple family members to live with us and help take
Yeah.
care of them and their children has been one of the greatest ways we've been able to give over these last few years.
Yeah. Roof over our heads. Holy cow. Absolutely. I love that. Sandy.
My gift is being an intercessor.
Wow. Yes, it is. And I've been blessed by that intercession.
Mhm.
We all have.
Yes,
Anyone who
right.
knows Sandy has been blessed.
That's right.
Mhm.
And the interesting thing about being an intercessor is like if you give somebody cash or a place to live, you see what's happened or their response or whatever. But when
Yeah.
you are an intercessor, you are praying, and a lot of times you don't see what God's doing. But the joy is in the serving that way and trusting God, them in God's hands. So sometimes later down the road I'll find out what God did, but I take such joy in praying, and I have an intercessor that even takes more joy in praying for me. We both would concur that hearing about it, even a month or a year or 2 years later, is just that confirmation that what we're called to do is sitting at the throne room, in the throne room for someone else. The great pleasure and joy is for us to sit with the King and wonder what he's going to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love that. Don, how about you?
Can you just clarify the question one more time so I'm answering it right?
We just it's kind of like how are we giving now? How are we giving our gifts? How are we stewarding them?
Okay.
That's kind of where we're starting. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Mhm.
I was actually giving when you when you asked the question. So I told somebody I'd do something right away. So I was
Mhm.
trying to keep my word. I am keeping my word. Giving, I think because God is such a big giver, when we're in Him, we give like all the time, you know.
Mhm.
Most recently, the last 2 years has been really sewing into my parents, which has been a really great joy. And you can never outgive God.
Yeah.
Also giving to my son, to our son, both John and I have given. John's given to my parents too, so it's a joint effort in for family, um, and being there, visiting our
Mhm.
children, bringing gifts, bringing joy. It's not just for us, it's for them. And
Yeah.
I just want to do more. I just want to do more. I love the
Yeah.
vision that you have, and I'm totally behind it. And I'm planting my flag. I've planted my flag a long time ago, but I really replanted my flag in helping you create a million seven-figure giver of women.
I love that.
I'm totally
Yeah.
behind that. I haven't told you,
Women,
so I'll just tell you now.
women locking arms were unstoppable. We're unstoppable. And let's talk about that. I believe one of the reasons God planted me in this industry is because he equipped me to be a builder. That is a gifting of mine and an encourager. And we also know as women that we talked about this yesterday, we are not raised to believe that money what came easy to us. And as believers, many of us actually consider money evil. There's like disruption we have to create even in the minds of believers around money and wealth. And my desire is that especially for the leaders on this call. And remember, that's all of us, the influencers, that we get rid of this money issue so we can get get busy with God's business. We get this behind us. We get it over. So it's no longer holding us back that when you have a mission opportunity, it's heck yes, because I don't even have to think about the finances behind it. When you find a mission group that you want to support, absolutely easy, easy, yes. I mean, I love Ron Carpenter's vision of imagine when those fires hit Los Angeles. Imagine being the church that could come in and help and save everybody's homes, like literally be the redemption church that is so, so wealthy that the devil has no room to get in. The devil has no room, right? And so to me, that is not evil. That is good. That is getting more money in the hands of good people so we can do good things. And so, we talked about what we're doing today. We talked about this. I want to share with you the kingdom wealth formula for giving. We get to generate more so we can be generous. And this is a lifetime commitment, my friends. We all are, I would believe that the room is filled with givers. We are all givers here. We are massive givers of our time, sometimes to our detriment, actually, right? So the question is, let's talk about money. Do you have a desire to give more generously monetarily as well? I think we all do. I think we all do. What would we do? Where would we be going? Who would we be with? Who would we be spending time with? What experience can we bless our next generation with? You guys have heard about Sierra has all these dreams that she has planted in her. And I'm not surprised because her mom is a big dreamer. I want to equip her to accomplish all of those dreams, my boys as well. What charities? I mean, there are so many charities that I want to say yes to. And I can't right now. I can't say yes to everything because this mortgage gets to be paid. And I'm also married to a beautiful, amazing man that has a different philosophy on monetary giving, and I get to support him and trust that God is going to move him as well, right? But I do want I believe when we are paying closer attention to our finances, um, we get to be tactical and practical about where we're at with our giving right now and where do we want to be in 12 months. And literally for my leaders here that are in our industry, how much of every policy you write are you going to put towards your giving, right? How many, you're giving, whether it's your tithing to your church, whether it's charities you support, whether it's family support, like so many of you, all of us are doing, right? Whether it's missions, kingdom projects, let's put names on those. Let's put figures. Because again, when your mind has clarity about where you're going, One of the first things that I ask our new agents when they're getting started is, what do you want to make 12 months from now? Why do we do that? Because if you have a destination in mind, you are much more likely to get there, right? You are much more likely to get there. And guess what? Then we also get to incorporate our family into these goals. I'm taking myself on a mini retreat with God in 3 weeks. I booked a beautiful hotel on the ocean. Just God and I are going, and it's going to be our business plan writing, God and my business plan. And I'm getting very tactical and practical about what I'm doing now and where He's going to take us in the next 12 months. And a big part of it is giving. And then I'm going to come home and I'm going to say, Paul, this is what God told me. What do you think? I'm going to ask for feedback, Dawn. I'm going to ask for feedback. And guess what? I'm going to be okay with whatever he comes back with because I'm putting it in God's hands. Paul is God's kid, not mine. Right? So now think about
Yep,
this
God's
next
got
step,
him.
right? God's got him. I know every one of you has been praying for my husband, and I feel it. You've heard about what's happening in his life right now. God is breaking free in a lot of areas. And then let's talk about our next generation. All of you have a massive heart for our next generation. Most of us are bio moms. Some of us are spiritual mamas, like Donis is. Donis is a mother to so many people. Larry's a father to so many people, right? But think about as we step into this chapter of generating more, we're all in that phase, right? That's one of the reasons you're here is you are on a mission to generate more so you can be generous, right? No family is left behind financially or spiritually. I mean, our agency right now, friends, we are on fire for Jesus. That is why we're taking territory. Are you kidding me? I get to start recruiting for Jesus. And oh, by the way, you can also be part of this pretty amazing organization that will pay you millions if you put the work in, right? And that's just the secondary thing. But you get to be saved. Literally, friends, Jesus saves. Guess what? We get to help people save, right? We get to help people save. And I wanted to share a couple of things that our family has been doing for many years. And there's so many, there's no end to the list of how we can teach our kids to be generous. But one of the things we've done for decades is I'm sure all your churches have Christmas angels, Christmas trees. Our church has five ministries that we have a tree for every ministry. And people pick a card off that tree and they go and bless that family, right? Our children, they have been raised to choose people to bless at dinner when we're out to dinner. And we have somebody that we feel like really, sometimes it's literally one of us says they need this. Sometimes it's just like someone that's been so amazing and they're just like, we just want to bless this person. Our kids get to pick, hey, who are we going to tip the bill to? And we literally tip the bill, right? Um, we share about giving wins at dinner. I don't get all my kids together very often anymore because we're all in different states and different places. Well, many of us are. But when we get together, Thanksgiving is a time my kids know Thanksgiving is all about what we did last year with God and what we're going to do next year. We have goal setting with our family every single Thanksgiving. It used to be just more tactical, practical. The last 3 years has been God goal setting, right? And it's so fun to see what has been happening. Our kids know we have care packages that we always have in our car. And when we're driving, Sierra Grace, she sees people, Mama, we need to stop. They need one of our bags, right? I keep Pocket Jesus, as you know, everywhere I go, Pocket Jesus. There's always a pocket full of Jesus. But I want to encourage you, you're going to be getting this document in your inbox, and I want to encourage you to sit down with God and fill this out for yourselves. Sign it, date it, and see what he does by this time next year. Just watch. Just watch. Come on, Holy Spirit. Come on. Sandy, did you have anything else you wanted to say before we move on?
Yes, I did. I discovered when I was in the parish setting that there's a bazillion requests that come for the church's giving. In our mailboxes, there's a bazillion requests, particularly at this time of the year,
Yeah.
to give of our dollars. And I recognize that in my personal life, one of my giftings is being a teacher. So part of what I do as a person in a group, in a ministry, is whatever I have been taught, I generously teach.
Mm,
But when I'm sorting through what comes in, requests that come in, I sort all the requests through and see what matches up with my passion for education and the Lord.
yeah.
And the lion's share of what I am able to give at this point will be to support a ministry opening up a library or starting a school, or my kids out in the mission, my grandkids or my children doing mission work where they are learning about being
Yeah.
missionaries. One time somebody in the church came and said, let's give to the injured, the warrior, what is that called? Wounded warriors. And I said, that is such a wonderful ministry. Everybody in this country is getting those requests. Let's
Yeah.
think about the way we can support. If you want to support the military, how can we support military where the gospel is being shared, like navigators or something where Christ is in the center of our giving in whatever our passion is.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very focused on making sure, for me, it has to do with Christ, and it has to do with people being educated, whether it is a public school education in China or Africa or whatever, so that they can learn and not have to be dependent or poor.
Yeah.
But that the best part is if there's a Christian ministry that is helping them build a school or build a library or whatever. So Christ is still being proclaimed and creating what they do. It's helped me not be so overwhelmed with all these requests, but like what is my personal calling in life, and how can I plant the seeds into having to do with my personal calling.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. And that's a great way to pivot right now to the next 30 minutes is going to be fast and furious, and it's going to be very tactical and practical. And be looking at this, I encourage you, as the influencers in your neighborhoods, in your homes, in your churches, because guess what? Women, we talked about this yesterday. One of my favorite women in our industry is Miss Sharon Lecter. How many of you know Sharon, out of curiosity? So Sharon Lecter, many worldly people know her because she wrote one of the most famous books on the planet called Rich Dad Poor Dad. How many of you have heard of that book? Did you not know Sharon was one of the co-authors? Sharon lives in your area, Sandy. She lives in Scottsdale. And She has a beautiful ranch with her husband called Cherry Creek Ranch. I'm going on a retreat. This retreat has been on my vision board for 7 years, and I'm going in April. I'm so excited. And Sharon is considered one of the most what prolific writers in the space of financial literacy, in entrepreneurship. She and Robert Kiyosaki, isn't it interesting? Most people know who he is. Most people think of him as the author, but she is the co-author. She helped create the cash flow quadrant. The cash flow quadrant, you're probably familiar. You have your employee quadrant where most people reside. You have your business owner that owns a job where most business owners reside because they don't own a system. They're trying to do it all. They're wearing all the hats. That's that left side of the quadrant. That's where 90% of the world lives. But guess what? The right side of the quadrant, where you have a business, like many of us do, that has a system that pays multiple income sources because of all the amazing ways we help families. And also, we are not working with just these two hands because we have the ability to multiply not only who we serve, but who we're serving with by locking arms with other people, other professionals, right? And so we have a system that pays us multiple ways. At which point you then can truly step into the fourth category, the fourth quadrant, investor, that money comes to you whether you are working or not, right? And that's the nature of the industry we work in too. You guys, for those of you that are in the financial industry, you may not realize, but every family you are serving, most of those ways that you're serving, yes, you get paid one time, but you also get paid a little bit every year that they have that solution in their arsenal. And doesn't it make sense, ladies? If we're going to literally possess 2/3 of the wealth by 2030, don't we get to equip ourselves? Don't we get to equip our next generation? Imagine, for example, in school, if they talked about these strategies, if they actually talked about, hey, when you graduate, you're going to have a lot of options to build wealth. These are the four. Don't just talk about a savings account. Think about the savings strategy that most of our kids have been raised in. At least my kids. Now, my younger daughter, not as much, but how many of you used to walk into a bank and they would give your child a lollipop? Do you remember those days when they would have literally a bowl of, what did they have? Suckers. And not only were they suckers, they were dum-dums. Do you remember that? The banks are literally telling us, you're kind of a bunch of dum-dums because you are giving us all your money. We're not giving you a whole lot. I just met with a gentleman. He has 440,000 sitting in a CD, giving him 2%. Right? The bank is doing awesome with his money. The bank is lending it out to 10 other people and making bank, right? Then we have the variable. This is everyone's 401k, 403b, IRA. Again, the only reason people have this is because that's what corporate America offers them. And 90% of us work in corporate America. But look at these other two strategies, these secured assets, fixed returns that are truly puts the investor into the lender category, where you are the first lien. You're like the bank. Talk about being the bank. These indexed accounts with cash value life insurance, with indexed annuities, where you truly can protect what you have, you can grow it, you can multiply it, and you don't have to participate in the roller coaster of the market. Talk about the worldly way is the roller coaster. The kingdom way is the secured assets and indexed accounts, right? So let's just talk about that. Let's just get some very, very tactical, practical. goals. For example, IRAs right now. What did we learn in Arizona a couple of weeks ago? We were literally sitting in the room that only 5% of financial advisors will ever get an opportunity to sit in because we were chosen. We are the chosen people, right? We are the chosen. And we got to hear about these products where clients would get literally a 16% return, 16 to 22 actually percent bonus just because this financial company is wooing them. There's so many millions and millions of dollars. We're in the midst of the largest wealth transfer in the history of our lifetime. Financial companies are wooing people. Bring your money to us. We're going to give you a bonus if you do. We're not going to charge you fees. We're not going to experience loss. Yes, in order to get that, you are going to only grow to a certain cap. But guess what, ladies? The caps right now on these types of IRAs, they're higher than what the market is bearing. Are you kidding me right now? Like, talk about the kingdom way. Talk about as an agent, you do not have to worry because when you're sharing the good news of the services and the solutions that we offer, your clients are not only being put in a better product, but you are not going to get those phone calls that says the market just dropped. What just happened? Because guess what? You're going to be making calls like, you know what? The market just dropped. And I just want to tell you, your money is safe. You're actually still going up. Yeah, you might have gone sideways a little right now. But guess what? When it starts to rally again, you're going to go up, right? Imagine if they were teaching this in school. How much wealthier our next generation would be so they could be more generous. Imagine, this is a client, I just did an example for him. He's with a financial advisor. He's with Edward Jones, and he has 1.5 million in his retirement accounts. I did a report for him, and for those of you listening, this is a free report that we'll do for any of you. If you have a 401k or an IRA, and you want to see what would happen to my account if I hit another 2008, which we all agree we saw earlier this week, we think another 2008 is coming. We don't know when, but we know it's coming, right? And I showed him on paper so his eyes could not unsee it. Friend, if and when we hit another 2008, your 1.5 million is going to drop 40%. It was 41% actually. And then there's this company that will say, hey, you know what? Give us even just a portion of that. Let's say we have 500,000. We're going to give you 16% bonus. We're going to take that 500,000. You're immediately going to have 580,000. And guess what? By the end of 10 years, you're going to have, anywhere from 1.3 million to almost 2.5 million. And guess what? Along those 10 years, you're never going to worry. You're never going to be paying fees. You're never going to be concerned about what the news is saying about the economy. Because guess what? Your position is safe and you're still earning and multiplying. Are you kidding me? How many people would like to know more about this, right? These companies are available. I mean, what's happened with Secure Act right now with how you can now take your IRA money and you can over time strategically turn it into a Roth. My friends, think about I have a handful of clients right now in their 70s and so late 70s and 80s. And guess what? They don't have these options anymore because they're too old, unfortunately. So we have to get the word out. We get to start with ourselves. If these types of strategies can serve you, schedule a time with our team, schedule your own evaluation. For my friends here on this call that are licensed like I am, we get to equip ourselves so we can be bold. We can be generous with our knowledge as you continue to equip yourself. Because imagine when you hit your 70s and 80s, 73 and a half right now, friends. The IRS is going to come calling. Whether you need that bill paid or not, they're going to come calling because you owe your required minimum distributions. They're going to come calling to you. And guess what? You're not going to have a choice to pay that bill. So look at the power of just what that Secure Act did right now, because we're going to be able to show, we can show people how to take that IRA money that hasn't been taxed and turn it into Roth. So you'll never get that tax bill from the IRS, right? Receive more income using other people's money, by the way. Who doesn't love that? And therefore have a forever income that's tax-free, that not only blesses us financially, but our next generation. Not only, so think about this. So far this week, we've created tax-free income from life insurance policies. We've now created tax-free income with retirement policies, right? The keys around these cash value life insurance policies, friends, because they are not considered income. Therefore, another key benefit is they will not impact our Social Security. I have an 82-year-old client right now, Miss May, and she came to one of our workshops and she said, my biggest problem is I keep paying more and more taxes and it's giving me less Social Security. And why is that? Because her 1 million has not been taxed yet. Every single year. Do you know that how RMDs work is literally they calculate what is your lifespan and they divide that by the wealth that you have that hasn't been taxed. So every single year it's going to keep going up, it's going to keep going up. So what's happening? Your Social Security is being decreased, and it also is increasing Medicare premiums from people, right? A lot of our retirees right now are on fixed budgets. They can't afford any loss, right? And yet they've continued to buy into what the worldly way says. The cash value life benefits, they're so much more than just an investment. They have a lifetime benefit of legacy, tax-free legacy. They have the ability to build wealth tax-free. Imagine if every single graduate of high school was told about these strategies. That you're saying I can save maybe $100 a month to start, then maybe 200, then 300. And I can have this Swiss Army knife of financial products in my arsenal that's going to make sure my family is blessed for the next generation for certain, that's going to get me insurance when I'm young and healthy so that you aren't faced with a health issue like my sweet Elizabeth, who died when she was 42 years old, leaving nothing behind financially for her kids. Then I can accumulate cash. I can be protected from market volatility. I can have my costs fixed, and I can have guarantees, not if comes. There's a reason the wealthy executives are paying their executives this way. Why doesn't everyday people, get to build wealth like these wealthy people? That's why we're part of a disruption, why we get to share with people how to be their own bank so that we don't get disrupted by the devalue in the American dollar, right? Um, so friends, as we're this last, 10, 15 minutes, I just want you to think about, are you saving like the 99% or the 1%? The 1%, they are not saving like everybody else. Think about the 1,000 to 1. The 1% is doing all of the things we've already talked about, right? The 1,000, the 990, they are either not doing anything, unfortunately, right? And by the way, if that's you, friends, be sure you book a call with me if you want to learn more about what we do, because we can show you how to build wealth in a fraction of the time that the world says you can, because we have the Holy Spirit as the tip of our spear, right, Sharon? So think about this concept. You also can't touch your own money. till you're 59 and a half. You absolutely can lose. My 401k turned into a 201k in 2008, right? And you haven't paid taxes on this money. This is I'm just curious, like if somebody actually showed them what they were participating in when they invested in this plan, would anyone do it? Truly. When you think just any logical person, and yet we've all done it. And yet the index strategies that we share about puts us in control instead of the IRS. We can still get a good rate of return, but we don't have to participate in loss. And we can pay little to no taxes, right? Think about that. What if everybody did that? Wouldn't it be amazing? Let's talk a little bit about how do we create these $1 million babies? Okay. And I love to show this example. This is a recent client that I sat down with, um, Miss Jean, and she has 5 children, grandchildren, sorry, and she had this massive desire to just bless her next generation. She does not need her retirement account, and she really has this desire to bless. You know, you think about I just met with a client earlier this week, and he talked about his rich uncle Fred. And rich Uncle Fred takes the family all over the world. Rich Uncle Fred lends every single child in their family, lends them a down payment for a home at a fraction, and charges them a fraction of the cost that a lender would charge them, right? Um, Imagine being that aunt that people remember. They talk about you because of how you bless them financially. Yes, I definitely want them to talk about how you bless them with who you are and what you do and how much you spend time with them and how you spend time with them. But think about financially. This, Jean, she put to work $300 a month for each of her 5 grandchildren. And, you know, she's going to do it for 10 years. And that is 36,000 per child. Just a drop in the bucket for her actual account. And for that generation, they are going to be able to, they can use it along the way if they want to. They can also set it and forget it. And literally 36,000 by age of 65 turns into over 1.1 million. Talk about goals. Ladies, all of us have grandkids. I don't yet, but I have grandbabies. Imagine this being one of your goals. You get to start a $1 million baby plan for all of your grandbabies, right? Oh, yeah, I just helped that person save $1 million. I was paid about $65,000. Guess what? I'm going to give $20,000 to my church, and I'm going to start a $1 million baby plan for every one of my grandbabies. And you literally did it helping one client protect their money and do better with their money. I want you to dream big. I want you to dream big. Now we're gonna spend the last 10 minutes on one of my favorite topics. Okay. Unfortunately, this topic became a favorite. You know how for example, has anyone ever had someone they know and love dearly diagnosed with a terminal illness? Most all of us have. And do you notice how as soon as you hear about that, you hear about 5 other stories about families facing that same thing? Okay. Now, for me, the crypto space, unfortunately, is kind of like my knowledge of cancer, because with my mother and my best friend battling cancer at the same time, I became a pretty fast expert in that space, right? And my crypto experience started kind of the same way. Not a great example, because my dad got scammed. My sweet mother and father were married for 52 years. I mean, they just had a love affair like no other. It wasn't always good, but it ended, and it continued to be an example for me of just such an amazing way to be married. And when mom passed away, daddy was seeking companionship, and he became friends with, who knows, she said she was a woman, but who knows if she was, right? Online. And he didn't talk to me about it because it was a woman that he was feeling romantically for. So he didn't bounce ideas off of me, financial ideas that like we always have done. Thankfully, the majority of my dad's wealth is protected, is with me in the products that we are able to provide. But 300,000 he had to play with. And I'll never forget that call from my brother. It was 2 years ago. And he said, Lisa, I think dad's in a pretty bad scam right now. And he doesn't want to believe it. He doesn't want to talk about it, but I'm really worried. And that started a year of devastation because, yes, my dad had been scammed, but he also, yes, still was not accepting it. And it took about a year. Took about a year. And it was awful. It was awful. He continued to give to this group until it hit every single dime of that 300,000 that actually he had inherited from my mother's family, he and my mom. And he had taken 100,000 and had grown it to 300,000 in a 10-year period. And then it was gone. Right. So imagine, if this is happening to me, I am a financial strategist and my dad knows it. And dad takes my advice. This is happening to many of us. Every single one of you, now that you're hearing this story, you will hear another story. Or I want to encourage you to tell the story of my dad, because the problem is, this is where the enemy lies, because the enemy is in this space big time, I can tell you. And the real problem is people are getting scammed all the time. They call it pig butchering. And they're getting scammed all the time, but they're so ashamed they're not talking to their family about it. Okay? So please start talking about it, right? Talk to me if you need to, but I'll tell you, this is why I believe the crypto economy is one of the reasons that I believe if kingdom people get their minds around it, it can also take territory for the kingdom. And there's a lot of kingdom people that are prophetic around the world of cryptocurrency. I know a couple of them. But why do I love it? Because when the financial crash occurred, friends, that's when especially the dollar started to devalue. 1,500 banks plus nationwide collapsed. And yet you remember government bailouts to the financial companies so they could support who was left. And the technologists at the time, they said, no more of this. Let's look at everyone's situation. The dollar is being backed by debt. It worked for a while, but now because of the massive printing that's happened the last several years, the dollar has devalued more and more. Now, obviously, we know a lot about the Bitcoin craziness, but let's just talk about investing a little bit. And, all the ways right now, we're all doing many of these. We own homes, we own stock, we own businesses, we are in banking. I'm looking for a kingdom solution around silver and gold. So if anyone happens upon that, I'm looking for a vendor that we can add to our platform. I don't personally own that asset, but I own everything else on this script, and just like we talked about cash value life insurance, equipping us to be our own bank. That's what Bitcoin and the crypto space does as well. So why is that? Because with crypto, with Bitcoin specifically. And I want to be clear, there is a difference, but Bitcoin truly is a DeFi financial system. There are only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin in the world. So they can never devalue it, right? They can never devalue it. And a lot of people, see what happened in Bitcoin. Literally, if you bought $1,000 in Bitcoin in 2011, it would be worth over 1.5 billion in as of January 2025. So a lot of people feel like I've missed the boat. Okay. But one of the ways, there's two ways I'm going to share with you that I believe that's completely the enemy talking to people. Okay. Number one is the token space. And I give the example token, I use the example of Chuck E. Cheese. Okay. So all of us have been to Chuck E. Cheese, whether we love it or not, we've been there, right? You take your dollar, think of the dollar as the Bitcoin. Okay. You take your dollar to the register and they give you tokens, right? That is the simplest way to think about our modern day currency, our modern day fiat is gold. It used to be gold backed the dollar. The scary part is now debt backs the dollar, right? Gold got replaced by debt, okay? But the theory is still the same, right? Now, how do you actually, because there's literally hundreds of thousands of tokens. So how do you actually vet them? How do I'm just giving my 2 cents on how to vet it. First of all, there should be a limited number. Use the same strategy that Bitcoin does. There should be a limited number of tokens. There should be a large number of owners that is distributed. It should have a real live business case, a use case around it, right? Backed by real companies with real products. Don't get suckered into the .com boom when so many dummy companies were literally funded and they had no product. They had no service, truly. There is also a way to buy, but also sell, right? You're not forced to hold something and it's regulated and it's officially listed. Okay. This is if you can just take this slide and make sure whatever you do in the crypto space, whether you simply buy and hold or you actually decide to become, a trader yourself, use that little box of prerequisites and you're going to do more for yourself than you would imagine. Because think about it, guys. What does the future of banking hold? Remember the Jetsons? Remember how literally I've had robots now serving me at restaurants. I there's a sushi place in Palm Desert, and they're known for it. That your water and drinks will be served by our robot. That is the future. And that's the same with banking in the future. Has anyone ever done a transfer of internationally? Transfer of funds. It's a pain in the butt. It is a pain in the butt. You never really know. Guess what? The crypto market is going to completely take that over. 100%. It already is. It already is. All we're waiting for is adoption. Think about your local 7-Eleven. This store, literally, my gas station, on the picture on the right is literally the crypto cash machine. There is a group that I invest in called Miracle Cash and More. Donis is an investor as well. They literally have stores that are crypto stores, right? And they're building more. It's 70% of business owners that have point of sale systems say that they wish they could accept crypto. And Miracle Cash and More, that they own a software that does that. All the point of sale system has to do is turn it on, and they're going to be able to accept cryptocurrency, right? So a lot of people think that they've missed the boat, but the reality is you have not missed the boat. We are still in very early adoption stage, very, very early adoption. So my point is, you know what the stock market has done. Do you see the crypto market does not look that different, right? This is the big difference, friends. The stock market, this started in the 1800s. This is not right now, it's like the roaring 20s before the Great Depression. This is like the heyday. We've never in our lifetime had an asset class come onto the market that we could participate in, right? So, whatever you're starting with knowledge base right now, I just want to encourage you, do not leave this asset class behind. Do not leave it behind. Make a commitment in your Kingdom Wealth Tracker, your Kingdom Cash Flow Tracker. Guess what? I'm going to start doing a little bit at a time. There's so many different ways to do it. I have vetted so many companies, and I will tell you this, take a picture of this. Start your own Swan account. Swan, the reason I like them and I've searched high and low for a company like this is because that's all they do is Bitcoin. Okay. You can save literally, I want to save $10 a week. You know what? I'm going to move my IRA into this, right? I have both an IRA, I have a Roth IRA, and I have a cash account. And I am a buy and hold girl when it comes to Bitcoin because it is truly gold, liquid gold, digital gold, digital gold. Okay. So, that if you want to take a baby step, start with just a baby step of opening your own account. It's as simple as opening a bank account and commit to buying a little bit at a time. You will not ever be sorry. I promise you. I am 99.9% sure this is a kingdom tool to build wealth. And I also want to invite you, if you're interested in learning more about how to create your own bank in this space, this is another thing that we'll be talking about in your complimentary Reimagine the American Dream series session. Because what we're showing clients is how to actually participate in this growing economy with this digital point of sale system. You can get started for as little as $99 with that business, the company Miracle Cash and More that I mentioned. Okay. And as we're wrapping, I want to also share with you another really, really special tool that I'm going to be incorporating more into our community. This is a company that I just came upon a couple of weeks ago, and they've been around since 2014. And think about every single church that we're part of, okay? Think about how every single charity that we're part of, for example, they have a constant desire to be growing more wealth, okay? It seems like most churches I know, they go from fundraiser to fundraiser, right? Well, what Share 360 does is every single person that has a point of sale system. Hi, Alexandra. I'm just wrapping up this workshop and I'll be right with you, but join us. I'm so glad you're here. So every single store out there that has a point of sale system, right? They are paying transaction fees. And imagine Share 360 coming in between the company owner that has the point of sale system and the bank. And they just simply integrate themselves in. Okay. And a portion of that transaction fees goes now to the charity. Okay. Imagine every church that we're all part of. Imagine every store we walk in. Imagine just asking the question, hey, is there a charity that you'd like to bless continually? That literally every time someone swiped your point of sale system, you would know that it's going to them, Wouldn't that be amazing? Right? So I am becoming an ambassador for this company. I will let you guys know when I learn the ropes, but I literally just learned of this last week, and I thought this is a perfect time to share it with our giving and philanthropic, you know, mission that we're on, because we all know people that could benefit from this. I can't wait to present this to my church and just go in front and say, hey, how many business owners do we have in this room? You're paying transaction fees. Wouldn't you like to just, hey, make sure a part of that goes to our church? Imagine that, right? So, as we're wrapping up, friends, this has been such a blessing this week. You all have blessed me with the opportunity to spend time with you. You've also blessed me with helping me create this course so I could get this curriculum into the platforms that are asking for it. And I want to invite you to schedule your own personal session with our team where we can actually sit down and help you really, truly create your own kingdom wealth formula and that path to prosperity for your family so that we can generate more and therefore be much more generous. So friends, watch for the tools that will be coming in the replay. Send the replay out to others, please. Let's help us all send this message to others. Send the tools that you'll be getting. Incorporate your kingdom cash flow tracker into your own economy and your family. Just watch, friends. Watch what happens a year from now when you truly, truly step into partnership with the Heavenly Father in your finances. Just watch what He does. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to hear. I can't wait to get together 12 months from now and see where we're all at. So, blessings, everybody, in this amazing life journey, and we will see you soon. Bye now.